something we didn't talk about on the last episode that definitely needs to be talked about is Triple H.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'll say it so that you don't have to. It's been a difficult time for WWE lately, and the shoes that he's had to fill and the spot that he's been put in. I mean, it's tough for anybody, but man, is he doing a great job.
He really is, and he's always had that mind for the business. Like,
really,
yeah, he's always had just a really good comprehension of the business. But I think not only like idea wise and being kind of in tune with our audience for the most part, but he's also he knows how to deal with the athletes now, like his demeanor and the way that he interacts with talent is really good. And I've watched, I've kind of, when I'm around, I kind of watch from afar, and it's just like a really good mentor type. I mean, he's wearing a lot of hats.
Oh, I could imagine.
Yeah, but just his demeanor and the ability to to lock in with today's talent. It's different than it used to be,
and it's got to be different in the sense of, like, with Triple H. He's in the sense like you, and he's this Hall of Famer. He's this GOAT. He's a Mount Rushmore guy for a lot of people. So when he does say something, I think a lot of the talent's like, well, this guy knows what he talks about. I mean, he was in the ring. I mean, he's
walked the walk.
Yeah.
He can talk the talk. He walked the walk. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was one of my favorite people to get in the ring with. We had amazing chemistry, and he just always. He always had a good idea of the story and where it would go, and so I mean, you can't look at saying like, you don't know what the hell he's talking about. Yeah, maybe he knows what he's talking about a little bit, but he conveys it in a manner that he's not what's the word I'm looking for? He's not arrogant, or he's not, well, this is the way we did it. This is the, he understands that the business is evolving, the business and the talent is evolved. And it's a different mindset in the way that they approach things, and the way that they have to be, the way they have to be not dealt with, but interacted with.
Yeah.
It's just different. And, I've been accused of, calling, some of the talent soft, and it's not so much that they're soft. It's just different. It's just a different time period, and people, are just that's just it. It's
Gen Z is just a different generation, and that's where it's not that they're soft. It's just a different mentality and a different.
As it gets, decade by decade by decade by decade, and everything changes, and Triple H has been able to, he came from a different era, but he's able to relate and get his message, and his vision, he's able to get it across to today's talent, which is, that's key. I mean, to be able to have that line, that open line of communication, which I think most talent feel like they have with him, and a trust level, and that's really important. And and just his ideas alone are, they're modern. They're with what's going on in society, I guess.
Paul Heyman said in his Hall of Fame speech that there's a freedom of creativity in the locker room like it hasn't been in forever, or just in years in general. Do you think that's playing a big part in it, where Triple H is allowing folks to, kind of do their thing. Like, it doesn't have to necessarily be this script. I want you to, here's the script. You got some freedom though to be you and to put your own spin on it, which I felt like you guys had that maybe in that Attitude Era and stuff like that as well.
Right.
Do you feel like that's what's happening right now with him?
Yeah,
And
I think he's smart enough to know, there's no one should know your character better than you.
Yeah.
Right. So, I think he's smart enough to realize that these guys have their vision, but I think, he realizes too, like he's able to let them express themselves, let them get their ideas out there, but he also has the ability to pull in the reins too. And not pull in the reins where it's demoralizing, because a lot of times people come up with some crazy that doesn't make absolutely zero sense.
Yeah.
And in this era, sometimes you feel really you feel like really passionate about this idea, and you go and present it. There's either like, well, that's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. That is horrible. I mean, he has the ability. You got to present
it the right way.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's his bad ideas.
Well, no. He's got to respond a certain way to where it's not demoralizing to the
exactly.
talent. Yeah.
Yes, and that's a people skill that he possesses, which is, I think, very vital to this this era of wrestler.
Yeah. I think critiquing people can sometimes be hard on both ends, right?
Oh,
and you've got to know how to do that positive critique, because it is important to the brand and to WWE as a whole. And a lot of times, if you come up with this crazy idea, it's not an idea that just affects you. It affects your opponent, and it affects a storyline that could be 6 months down the road as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he has to be able to. But I think when he does give that feedback, guys are going to respect him a lot more just because of who he is, what he's been able to accomplish. He's done it in the ring.
He's done everything. So there's not any and the best thing, he has done everything. So there's not. It used to be in wrestling, everybody was you're always worried about getting screwed somehow, right? I mean, it's in your nature, ingrained in your nature, especially us old timers, right? It's just like, promoter's trying to screw me. This guy's trying to, he's trying to screw me over, make me look bad. That's just the way you're brought up, or the way, back in the day. And I don't think it's so much that anymore. I still think there's some of it, but for the most part, I don't know that they feel like they got it in for me, or it's just like I saw something. It was a comment. Somebody asked Triple H a question about other talent from coming in from other places, and it was so true. But I'd never heard anybody really say it. Is like, like there was a lot of time when guys came in from back in the day, when the guys came in from WCW and were big stars in WCW, and not such big stars when they got to WWE.
We saw
of course, people are always wanting to point the fingers at, like, well, there was this vendetta against this, against that's all. That's just crap. That's not. If you draw money, you're going to be, now you have to, obviously you have to be put in the situation to be able to draw money, but you also have to be able to, you have to work within that WWE frame of mind.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I think that he was trying to say, was just because that you were a big star there, a big star here, doesn't mean that you're going to fit into the system. You're going to fit into the WWE system without a little bit of acclimation time, and that's what most smart marks they don't get. They think, he was this huge star at this company, but now, you know,
Y'all just
WWE's.
had it out for him. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
why on earth would this is the stupidest thing you ever heard? Why would you even waste anyone's time just to bring them in to hold them down?
And the money that you're going to spend by doing that as well
It's
is
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
yeah.
You don't bring people in to hold them down. You bring people in to make your product better.
If you can make money, you can draw money.
Yeah,
Look at Booker T.
yeah. I mean, he came from, he came from WCW, and you know, you look at his WWE resume, it's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just, I think if people were as actually smart as they thought they were, sometimes it would be. I'm going to get on a whole nother tangent. We were talking positively about Triple H. I'm going to go somewhere. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole of.
Go down that hole, brother. I mean, that's.
I'm just saying. Man.
Hold on. Let's pop open a Happy Dad and get you loosened up a little bit here.
You know what? I think I'm trying a little Happy Dad.
You know what? I don't drink. I'll pop one open with you. I'll take a sip. I've never had a hard seltzer. They're fruit punch. It's gluten free. It's good for you.
Oh, it's good for you. It's gluten free, man. Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy Dad.
Happy Dad. Thanks, Happy Dad.